Hey, family. Happy Thursday. Hope y'all ready for this conversation.
I think they're ready. They sound ready.
Nothing sound ready.
They
Ooh.
do.
Before we even get far into this, let me go ahead and put it out there now. Tonight is the Bible study. Gotta
Hmm.
drop the link.
Right.
Because we be forgetting. To
That's
tell
true.
y'all, we be forgetting, child. We doing
That's
better in
so true.
2026. So tonight we're having our bi-weekly Bible study session. So really excited about that. Um uh la- 2 weeks ago, it's so funny because I keep wanting to say last week. Last week I definitely was not on the Bible study. We didn't even have it. Your girl was living her best life. Okay. That's why I'm giving 10 today. Um, but but our Bible study was it's been so powerful. Like, and it is for men and women. So let me start there, men and women. Um, and so nevertheless, we will be having it tonight. And so we would love, love, love for you to join us. I'm going to make sure that I drop the link in this video. So if you're like, well, how I get it, how I get the details, don't worry, child. I'm going to drop the link. All right, shoot us a DM if you
Hmm.
don't see it, and we definitely will send you over the information so you can get signed up, and
Hmm.
you can join us tonight on Google Meet and
Hmm.
join our family, our community. So if you know that this is a season that you have been wanting to cultivate your relationship with God and really just learn more about His heart and not just what's in His hands all the time, like y'all be doing to men, then I would recommend. We want to see you tonight. So come and join us. The end. I'm complete. Hey, Jer.
What's up? What's up? It's good to be back. The last few episodes have been have been really fun to explore. We got
Yeah.
a lot of views and a lot of responses from yesterday's reel posted, which is really cool. And I think just bringing forth light of what I think people are coming into the revelation of, which is really beautiful, and seeing things as God has intended. And yeah, man, it's exciting. I love it. Bible study's lit too. Make sure y'all come and join. It's a fun time. Hmm.
So I want to tap into something. I've been having a really great morning, actually. Really great morning. And it is very closely aligned to the reel that dropped this week.
Hmm.
Um and just our conversations around just relationships and sex and intimacy and conversations and connection. And so this morning in my prayer time, um God like really healed the way that I saw, for me, my relationship with money,
Mm.
and really changed the way that I saw it. And it was crazy because I'm reading 100 Days of Believing Bigger for like the fifth year in a row. Okay. I read the same one every 100 days to see, child, have you grown or not?
Hmm.
And so, but I always get something new. And so today, the new thing that I pulled away was, she says in the devotional how a lot of times the things that we think are there to hurt us or to harm us are there to help us.
Mm.
You said on the podcast episode that dropped this week that oftentimes not oftentimes, you said pain perverts the way we see people.
Hmm.
That is a very similar conversation.
Hmm.
Pain perverts the way we see people. And a lot of times, the things that we think are there to harm us or hurt us, what if it was there to help us? What if having that uncomfortable conversation with your partner about the way that you are feeling is the very thing that you need? Or what if them holding you accountable is actually love? And they're not trying to criticize you or demean you or whatever the other traumas are that you're thinking that they're trying to do. Like, what if we at some point started doubting the fact that the person that's with us is there to harm us?
Mm.
So those are my thoughts this morning. And and so from that, I was like, ooh, child. Okay, God. So that's why you had me. I'm a processor these days. I used to be a sharpshooter, Jared. You said something crazy to me. Oh, we was gonna go ahead and get crazy together. Okay. I was quick on my feet. And so in this big age, now I stop and I think and I process and I sit with my emotions on things. And but most importantly, I sit with my emotions with God on things. Don't forget that part. Sit with your emotions with God. Don't sit alone. Sit with a friend. He's a friend. And so I spend more of my time doing that. And I have found that in doing that, God has started to give me language for things that are sometimes challenging for me to deal with. And oftentimes I will procrastinate on things that I know I need to deal with, but I'm more afraid of it like taking me back to the version of me that died. Oh, old Helen is gone. Y'all know from Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Oh, Helen is gone. I will oftentimes like run from it because I'm like, Lord, you know that person be triggered. For I know it, Lord. If I don't get into heaven, I know it's gonna be because of what I said. That'd be the running joke. And so I found myself procrastinating those things. And I was like, okay, God, what is that really tied to? And we think about like intimacy and connection and deeply knowing another person, but it also goes back to sometimes you got to deeply know yourself and really deeply know like where are things coming from for you, and then how to communicate that in a way that the other person can either partner with you with it, walk with you until you get it together, like whatever that looks like. And so I think that today's conversation, we should definitely be able to. We started on this on the podcast, but sometimes I don't know if we came all out. And those things are just questions and conversations of like, how do we start having hard conversations that are going to create long lasting connection? That's my thought.
Okay. That's a great introduction. So, what do you think is the process of being able to create hard conversations? What's the ecosystem of that?
Ask me that one more time.
So, if you want to dive into how do we create hard conversations, right? Like, what needs to be formed for hard conversations to be had? What's the ingredients?
Mm. So the ingredients for me, I'm gonna speak for me because it's me. And if y'all agree, just put some fire in the chat if I'm not the only person sitting on the bench. So um it's all in like the response, like the anticipated response. So in sales, we're taught like not to anticipate the sale, right? Like don't talk yourself out of it. So sometimes you think about how the other person is going to respond, or there may be times where I don't think the other person's going to have a crazy response, and then they do, and then because I wasn't ready for the response, if it's aggressive, then that is an ingredient that makes it a hard conversation. Another hard conversation ingredients is when I've identified that I didn't create proper structure on something before I started building on top of it. So like if there's a change in the agreement, instead of me saying like, okay, yeah, we verbally agreed on this, but now we need let's put this in writing. Like let's put this on paper. And we just make this emotional agreement about something. And then because there's not an accountability held back to that, like even if it's just verbal, right? Hey, I'm gonna show up at 5. Cool. But then you get here at 5:30. And at some point, if that's on my nerves, I need to tell you that, right? So, but sometimes I may be like, oh, it's nothing, right? And we get very dismissive and just kind of push it off like it's no big deal because you're like, well, I can't get the last 30 minutes back. What's the point of arguing about it? But in my mind, I've had to start identifying that it's not about arguing. It's just about explaining. Because what'll happen is you'll go long stints of someone doing this thing and you don't say anything about it, and then it starts to create an issue. So if it's an aggressive response, if I start feeling like, dang, you should have thought about that sooner. uh if and that makes it hard. If I'm wrong, depending on how wrong I am, sometimes that can make it hard.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, and so that those are the ingredients I would say
Mm,
could sometimes make it hard. Oh no, I got one more. If the other person oftentimes like they have this habitual setup of like not being honest or
mhm,
like feeling like they're always the victim, like
mhm,
this manipulation thing. And so like they're not gonna be open to the feedback because they're gonna I ain't listen to that, I ain't do that. Like they're gonna always that's another one for me that
mm,
creates a hard conversation because I can't control how somebody responds to what I share.
mm,
However, I do need to be prepared and
mhm,
think through, okay, if the conversation go over here, where you gonna go? Are you gonna stand on the Lord's side? Or are
mhm,
you gonna go too far left? And that's
mhm,
real. And so that sometimes can make it. That's the other one that can make it a hard conversation.
mm.
I hope I answered
Okay.
your question.
Yeah, no, I think it's great because what it does is it gives the audience kind of like a visual
Mm-hmm.
and kind of verbalizes and it creates like texture that we can touch because I think when we're
Mm-hmm.
having hard conversations, people aren't aware of the materials that are involved, the aspects that are
Yes.
involved, the dynamics that are involved. We're just having hard conversations. And depending on how we respond to hard conversations, we're usually more invested in the trigger that's happening, the defense that's happening, the making sure we're heard that's happening, and then how do we get ourselves out of it that's happening. But we're not actually aware of, well, what is actually happening outside of what's just happening in me, right? And so I think
Mm-hmm.
it's, like, really important for us to dive into that with the audience, so that way when they are having hard conversations or they recognize a fear of having it, they can start to ask more deeper questions and have deeper curiosities of being like, "Okay, well, what is it about the hard conversation that scares me? What is it about the
Mm.
hard conversation or hard conversations I've had in the past that makes me defensive, that makes
Yeah.
me wanna freeze, that makes me wanna fight, that makes me wanna have all these different reactions
Yeah.
that keeps the hardship in the conversation from doing a work in us, right?
Mm. That's good.
So, I love hard conversations, I love tension, I love conflict,
Mhm.
I love talking to people and in the moment where they are emotional, I provide a logical response to get us back to a place of not removing emotion, but not allowing emotion to remove the heart of the conversation. And because a lot of hard conversations are really hard to navigate because as soon as people start touching things emotionally, now emotions can't get to the resolve because somebody has to feel something in order for someone to feel safe. And
Ooh.
emotional safety can't be the only thing that's present in order to get to the resolve of something. And I think that we've hyper emotionalized things and we've made emotions the heart of what we're experiencing with people instead the heart is the heart of what we're experiencing with people. And we can't discern the difference between the two. So we can't get to the heart because we're too stuck in the emotions, right? And
Mhm.
that's why we can't navigate hard conversations. As soon as emotions come out, well, I heard your tone and your tone means this. And I'm like, but are you sure that that's what my tone means? And I understand it's how it's made you feel, but
Yeah.
do I have the space to communicate to you what my tone means to me? Or do
Yeah.
you get to be the decider of my tone? And
Mm.
so now we can't navigate anything of what's really going on in the heart because we can't even get past the surface aspects of expressing ourselves because we express uniquely, we express differently. So if your expression is different to how I receive information, then I've already shut myself down. I can't even hear you because you
Yeah.
talk in a way that reminds me of like a mom or dad or someone who used to speak to me in a way that didn't make me feel loved or
Yeah.
didn't make me feel heard. So I've already
Mhm.
assumed, I've already made the decision. My heart is shut down because you're familiar to something that brought pain to me.
Mm.
And so once again, like you said, because we're filled with pain and because now that's the filter that we're seeing thing from, now I can't see clearly. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna get it out.
Well, you want to go on mute?
Mm-mm.
Now he go get it out in the open.
That thing was in there.
Lord, help
It's out
him.
now. I got it. I built this
Hallelujah.
slide through. We're set free now. I've been working out lately, and so
Come on, working out
a lot of
lately.
detoxing, and my body's
Yeah,
doing stuff where I was like, oh, so we do this now. This is different. So forgive me. But
you're fine. You're fine.
going back to that moment is like when we get triggered, we get to make a decision. We can allow drought to come in. We can allow a wall to be established.
Mm-hmm.
We can allow space to be created.
Mm-hmm.
And we can allow a disconnection to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can acknowledge the trigger. We can be aware that it's there. And then we can also say, well, can the trigger be present while also being present in the conversation?
Okay. I'm going to pause right there. And it is off topic. Did you hit go live on your Instagram? I didn't. I just realized it. So I just did.
I didn't either.
Okay. No worries. No worries.
It looks like it's got everything in there though, which is great. Oh wait.
Okay, perfect.
Oh wait, no, it doesn't. No, it's okay.
No worries.
Sorry, y'all. This is what happens when Lauren goes on vacation.
I know what. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back into the conversation. Come on, we have hard conversation.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I love it.
I just realized, and I was like, "Oh wait, I didn't hit the button." Okay, praise the Lord. Sorry, Instagram family.
No,
y'all can replay.
See our humanity.
Okay, but bring it back. Bring me back where we were though, Jared, because I got lost when I realized.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that whenever like we were discussing how do we navigate hard conversations? What are the ingredients necessary to successfully navigate hard conversations? Now remember, we're talking about sex, but we're building a framework. I promise this all connects.
Okay? I was paying attention to how he's putting the house together because he's done with his cost of goods, how much the materials cost. Come on, sir.
You got it.
Talk that talk. Talk that talk, Zed.
I'm gonna. You're so funny. I'm gonna paint this picture, then we're gonna go back to the foundation building.
Come on, let's do it.
Sex is the expression. It is not a foundation. Sex is an expression. It's not a foundation. And because we've made sex the foundation instead of an expression, this is why we create droughts. And this is why we put so much expectation on demand on a place that is being inappropriately conveyed because it's not in its right design in the relationship. Okay?
Come on. Talk that talk. Come on.
So, hard conversations. When we can sit in the trigger that is happening, when a hard conversation shows up, and we can learn to have capacity for the trigger and the hard conversation, this is how we allow ourselves to be present and to remain invested in both sides of the experience, because my trigger no longer has the power to remove your experience from mine. What happens is when the trigger shows up, tone, information being shared, past experiences that triggers things that all these things that show up that keeps hard conversations from walking through a really beautiful process that draws people together in closeness. We don't make room for all of the experience to be involved. We only have enough room until the trigger shows up. And this stands in the way. And so as soon as trigger happens, the best thing we can do is say, hey, I like to stop this conversation just for 1 second. My ears are growing deaf and my eyes are going blind and my heart is starting to close because of this specific information that you're sharing is triggering something in me that's
Mm-hmm.
making me realize that I am now stepping away from your experience. So let's do one or two things. I want to tell you about what's triggering me, where I think it's coming from, or I also want to tell you I don't know where it's coming from. Can we take a
Mm-hmm.
moment to pray so I can get myself back open to hearing your experience?
Mm.
Now, what that just happened, that was called intimacy.
Come on.
Intimacy is not just knowing what happened to you. Intimacy is letting someone in when something is happening to you. It's not just past tense information. A person is not like a archive of all this data of you. A
Mm-hmm.
person gets to be in the live raw form as you are becoming and being and existing in a moment, and you're letting them into the present thing that's happening to their heart and happening on the inside, and you're allowing them to partner with you in the present moment of what you're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Now what happens is there's vulnerability. When
Yeah.
vulnerability happens, it naturally creates a safe place because our response to the vulnerability is what allows a person to continue to collaborate with them. So now I'm collaborating. Now I'm shutting down, but I'm not shutting you out. And we have to learn how to shut down without shutting you out, because we think to shut down, I have to shut you out. And we can shut down without shutting people out because we have
Ooh.
capacity for more than just the shutdown. Something I said in previous years that I always probably bring up on every other podcast or anytime I talk.
Mm-hmm.
Just because pain is present doesn't mean that love has left the room. And we
Come
think
on.
whenever fear and pain shows up, love is nowhere to be found. We think that joy is no longer to be found. We have this finite understanding where we think because something happening to us that brings forth pain or that brings forth something that disconnects us from something, then love can't be here because this is happening to me. Joy
Mm-hmm.
can't be here because this is happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would go on to say, I saw it happening to Jesus in all 33 years of his life, and he never talked about love or joy leaving him.
Correct.
This man was on the cross. Talk about a traumatic experience. The people who you came to bring closeness into, this is God in the flesh. I
Mm-hmm.
became you so I can show you who I am. You can touch me, feel me. I'm the God that wants to be so close to you that I put on your skin so you can now finally understand me. And
Yeah.
their response is, sentence him to death. Talk about betrayal when the other person has come with so much vulnerability. I just want intimacy with you. And it
Yeah.
revealed how callous our hearts was. It revealed how insignificant we felt in ourselves. It revealed how defensive we were. That when it revealed that we were adequate in and of our own understanding, we were already condemning ourselves and God wasn't condemning us. Our response was a state of defense towards God. I would rather crucify my God than to live in the light that I'm living in my own condemnation. So we didn't want to mutually respond to mutual intimacy with God. So we hung him on a tree because his love revealed the lack of love in us.
Mm.
And then while he's hanging on the tree, did you see bitterness pop up? Did you see God's guard go up? Did you see the triggers that was happening in him start to come out? What came
Mm-hmm.
out of his mouth, Lauren? Forgive them,
Forgive
for
them.
they know not what they do. Jesus was being triggered that the people that he came for was literally turned against him, that the people that he called his sons and daughters just became his enemies and oppressors. And while he's speaking to them, he's not letting what's happened determine where love is found.
Mm. Say that last part again. Somebody in the back need to hear. Say it again. Come on.
He's not letting what is happening to him determine where love is found.
And let's put a pin right there because that is where people struggle the most.
That's where
They think that it is in the performance. And
Yep.
if you're not pleased with me,
Mhm.
then now you you don't love me. I am at risk of losing your love.
Mhm.
And my mom and I actually had this conversation today. And I was sharing with her just the power of setting really great boundaries and
Mhm.
being able to really, you know, time is a non-refundable investment. It is the only investment that you can't, there's no refund. Once it's
Mhm.
spent, it's spent. And
Mhm.
so we only have so much time on this earth. And so when we negotiate with things that are truly a non-negotiable for us, now it puts us in a space where we're in prison to people,
Mhm.
because now we're trying to please you because we don't want you hurt if we say
Mhm.
no. But
Mhm.
but pleasing you should not include abandoning me.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we were having this conversation, and I'm like, we grew up seeing people who were celebrated for neglecting their own emotions and their own feelings.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
we would say, oh, they're humble, they're this, they're that. And
Mhm.
I'm really not. If
Yeah.
anything, I'm either paying for your love, performing
Mhm.
for your love, but quite
Mhm.
honestly, I don't have your love at all. And I said this to my mom. I said, Mom, people that get upset about a boundary you set are the people that were benefiting from you not knowing who you were. They
Mm.
benefit from you not setting the bound. That's why they're mad. A person who respects boundaries and who loves you, they don't love you because of what you do for them. They love you
Mm.
because you're you.
Mm.
And when you can't love people for just who they are, they have to be doing something in order for you to love them, then you don't love them
Mm.
because you're leeching them, or you like
Mm.
what they do for you, but it's not true love. And
Mhm.
just saying yes all the time doesn't mean you love me. Every
Mm.
time I say it, because that's what we equate it to. If you tell me yes, then you love me.
Mhm.
But what if that yes is gonna hurt you? Is that still love? And I knew it was gonna hurt you.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
it's
see what I'm
true.
saying? So when we
Yeah.
think about what you're doing for us, is you're setting us up first to look at what, and Jeremy says this every week. I only do what I see the Father doing. But you
Mhm.
first have to bring to light, what was the Father doing? Even when they were doing wrong, he was,
Mhm.
do your worst, but I'll never do mine. He was,
Mhm.
forgive them, for they know not what they do. He wasn't fighting
Mhm.
fire with fire. He could have got down off that cross. He could
Mhm.
have never got on it. I mean, like,
Mhm.
quite
Mhm.
honestly, he had
Mhm.
a choice. But he
Mhm.
knew when he came down here what
Mhm.
the plan, what the goal was. He
Mhm.
knew.
Mhm.
So when we talk about trusting the process, sometimes for us, we forget
Mhm.
what the goal was.
Mhm.
And then the process start weighing you out. And now you like, but it's like,
Mhm.
this is the issue. My trainer, JJ, he used to say all the time, and it really hit me this week because I was thinking of him. And he said the enemy is after your routine,
Mm.
because it's the habitual things that we do. And
Mm.
so when we find ourselves being connected to God, now you can start picking up those habits instead of being like, you can be, you God, forgive them. Let me
Mm.
forgive them. Let me forgive faster than I condemn them. And I
Mm.
don't think that that's what we do in relationships,
Mm. Okay.
or we don't do enough of it.
Well, I would go on to say and add to that to say that I think that loving a person is seeing them as God sees them.
Come on.
Because if I'm seeing you from my own lens,
Mm-hmm.
then then I could be seeing you from my image being the standard of yours. And
That's
the
good.
only image that a human being was made to reflect from is God's, as I posted in the video yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't see a person from that said image, then I don't really see them.
Yeah.
So even if I say that, oh, well, I love you for you, well, that depends on whose lens I'm looking at you from. If I don't have God's lens, then I can't love you fully because I don't see you fully.
Yeah.
And God is the only person that can reveal you to me. You can't even reveal you to me. And so when we walk into God being the precursor for the end all and be all of how we navigate seeing one another,
Mm-hmm.
navigating life with one another, navigating with connection one another. We get into these places where I always say, it's a new phrase that I've coined with God, is God, I don't want an adult-like heart. I pray that you will protect my childlike heart.
Oh, that's
And
so
when we start walking in relationship, we start having adult-like hearts and we start walking in our own understanding. And just because we've been like walking with God for a little bit, we don't walk with God with how to navigate things. We think that our discernment becomes God. Well, I'm discerning this, so this is why I decided. You didn't talk to God about that? Your discernment is not God. Your discernment is not the voice of God. Your
yeah,
discernment, just because you have a feeling and an instinct, I'm not saying that God can't discern things from you, but we should always be testing what we discern with God.
yeah.
And so we've made conclusions about things that we haven't even ironed out with God and wonder why we can't have hard conversations.
Well, that is also why it makes it hard to enjoy. So let's go back here. That leads into why it makes it hard to enjoy sex with the partner. Because when we can't have the conversation, then disconnection is present.
Mm,
So we can't even enjoy the act of, because what did you call it earlier? You said it's not the foundation. You said it was kicked off.
it's the expression.
Is the expression.
It's not the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it affects it affects the expression.
And we pervert its design because we need the foundation, because for a lot of us, it's the only place where we actually know how to be vulnerable.
Mm.
Or we think we know how to be vulnerable. We think nakedness is us being vulnerable. Because I got naked with you, and because you entered my body, this is me being vulnerable. But if the rest of you have closed off, if the rest of you have walled, then you're not expressing vulnerability, you're expressing objectivity. Let me say that one more time.
Ooh.
If you, in your nakedness, if your sexuality is the only place of expressing vulnerability, then you are not living in true vulnerability. You have lived in objectivity, which means my body is the object that I am using to mask everything else that I'm hiding myself from.
Baby, shut alive right now. Just gonna hit the share button. Cause see, somebody on your page who lurking need to catch this spirit right here. Jer, like what? Baby, if y'all don't ever shut on live to hurt quit fast.
Listen,
Baby, this thing is good.
right? Listen, listen.
And if y'all see me with my head down, for those of you who just joined and it's your first time with me, baby, it's because I'm taking notes. Listen, ladies, listen, take a note
Yeah,
so you
listen.
can learn.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you, man, it's one of those things that we haven't learned, and what's sad is like nobody has taught us anywhere.
No,
We've learned
no.
about the biology, but we have not learned about design, and biology is not the design of sex. It's not the same.
Jared,
It's not
wait,
the
Jared, wait, I
same.
can't. You just take me too far. I can't, Jared. I done got a whiplash. What? It's not the design, sir.
Yeah,
Come on, I'm prepared. I'm gonna act right. I just had to come back. That done took me out. I couldn't
but
write my note down.
listen, it's not the design.
It's not the design.
It's not. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't care how your body was formed. I don't care if you're male or female. I don't care if your body was made to do these things. The way that God formed sexuality is from every part of us being in the light with one another and being in the light with Him. And if you have darkness, darkness means hiddenness. If you have places where you are hidden, I don't care how much you flip over and try all these things. I would honestly say that most people, and this is just my opinion,
Go
I
ahead.
would say that most people who are into the extremism of sexual exploration are people who are the most bound and hidden in every other part of their human experience.
Oh! And if I think back over my life and my seasons,
They're
and
the
my
most disconnected
seasons,
for themselves.
I can remember being that.
Yeah.
I can remember being that,
Yeah.
and not really a person feeling like because we were in this sexual act, them feeling like okay, we must be connected.
Hmm.
They were the furthest from me. I'm just being honest. And they were the furthest from me. You know me. A- And I was the most hidden, the
Mhm.
absolute most hidden. And then even in the seasons where I started to like start to come out and be more vulnerable and more connected to God and connected even to self and just even expressing it, right? I
Mhm.
found that when I would try to it was so interesting because I went through this season of like loving the avoidant.
Mhm.
And and so it was like the more I wanted to get close to that person, the more they were shut off. They were avoided. And so it was always this almost moment. You know, we were almost close. We were
Mhm.
almost and but almost doesn't count. And so
Mhm.
almost doesn't count.
Yeah.
And so I knew that like my heart would not be safe with that person
Mm.
because they weren't safe with themselves. Like they didn't
Yeah.
have it for themselves. So it's like okay, wait.
Yeah.
Well, when do you get like when does someone get to love you fully? And I've heard women say this the most, and that is I never felt like I had all of him. Especially when
Mhm.
I'm working with couples, that's one of the things that I hear women say a lot is that they feel like I don't have all of him. I wanted to really love him and know him, but he never could give me all of him. Well, all of him is him being able to be in the light with you
Mhm.
and being
Mhm.
able to share,
Mhm.
some of the things that have harmed him. And Jeremy, you said this on the podcast, and you said what's hurting you. Like we don't
Mhm.
oftentimes lean into that. And
Mhm.
I wrote this down because I just realized that in asking what's hurting you, it's moving the person into their human experience. It's
Mhm.
moving them back and it's putting them into their bodies and
Mhm.
really identifying where is this pain? What
Mm.
what is hurting me? Because we don't ask people what's hurting them. We say, "You okay?"
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
We don't. So we
Mhm.
do a closed-ended question, but we want an open-ended answer,
Mm.
and that doesn't work.
Mhm. Mm. It doesn't work, and we have to understand that when okay, so I'm gonna put you guys into character.
Come on.
Imagine seeing your partner and you see what hurts them.
Mm-hmm.
You see what has hurt them, and you see what is still hurting them. You
Yeah.
see how they respond to what's hurting them. You see how it has debilitated parts of their life. You see how it's created some form of disconnection with you
Mm-hmm.
and them in the relationship. And they're
Mm-hmm.
not intentionally trying to sow disconnection. It's just that the pain has made them to believe that they'll never be able to get past it because they don't see that the love that is there is greater than the pain that they've experienced because they have so allowed it to be absorbed into their identity as if the pain tells them a part of who they are. And then you say God, and God's like, let me tell you how I see this person. Let me tell you how I see this pain. So while I'm living inside of your body, Jer, whenever you're connecting with them, I want you to express yourself with your body and everything inside of you, with your emotions in your
Mm-hmm.
heart and your whole being about how I love them. And I want you to pour yourself out in such an intimate and physical way that the way that you take your time with them and the way that you make them feel chosen and the way that you make them feel seen and the way
Yeah.
that you want to serve them and the way
Yeah.
that you want to be careful with them and the way that you want to tend to them and the way that you want
Mm-hmm.
to hold them and the way that you want them to make them feel safe and the way that you want them to make them feel heard and the way that you want them to make them feel touched, the way that you want them to make them feel close. That's what God is pouring out in you as you are expressing yourself through the body. That's what
Yeah.
sexuality was made to be. And when we operate from that expression, imagine the healing that
Right.
can take forth in the relationship.
I was literally thinking that is so
Sex
healing.
brings, when we operate in that, when
Oh
it, that in the sex brings forth, it's not the sex that brings forth healing,
no.
but it's what's being born from the
Yes.
love of God in us, that when we see the person as God sees us in the midst of all of their condition,
Mm.
what can happen in the midst of those experiences? And so like as a young man, when I was in a sexual phase, I realized, I was like, God, this can't be right. This
Yeah.
is so disconnecting. This is what
Yes.
people are doing. This is so awkward. I don't even
Yes.
know this person. We literally looked at each other, thought each other was attractive, and we just made the most sacred decision. And
Yeah.
all I know is their body, and I don't know them. This doesn't
Mm.
feel right to me. So it made me start talking to God about what doesn't feel right. And God was like, Jared, you're right. It's not made that way. You want to know how
No.
I made it to be? When I made you and you are expressing yourself, you are the expression of the intimacy and the fellowship that I have with you and that I'm
Yeah.
having in the Godhead. And I was like, God, sex is so powerful. Not
Yes.
about the soul ties, not about the demonic stuff, but
No.
about the essence of God being expressed and explained and emptied out when I operate in that way.
Yes.
And when we operate in that way, everything gives glory to God. This is why the Bible says, husbands, it's not about you loving your wife like you love your own body,
Correct.
but that the mystery of Christ would be unveiled about his love for the church. Well, he's talking about in the sexual encounter, not just the marital day or the union. It's in that as well, if not anything else. It's the one thing that I'll never partake in any other relationship except with my spouse, that when I give you my body, it's equal as to God, Jesus giving his body unto the grave. And what did he do with that body? He raised it back up. Well, guess what happens when I lay my life down? When I lay my body down in a sexual space, God raises it back up. And then over and over again, when we're laying down in one another in intimacy, we see our bodies being laid down as living atonements for one another. And then we're raised back up to continue the practice of sexuality. Even that expresses the cross.
Yes.
And when we don't have God being expressed in sexuality, that's why we have to go to extremism in order to search for the satisfaction in the substance that it can never produce. I don't care how freaky you get. I don't care what stuff you try. I don't care who you bring into the bedroom. All those things are expressions that you are hiding from your partner because you don't see each other from the light of God's lens.
And in the beginning, Adam and Eve were naked and they knew no shame.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part.
Mm-hmm.
Is they knew no shame.
Yep.
I don't want to be with you and be in shame and you don't know I'm in shame. You know what I'm saying? Like, because now we don't know each other. And we go back to the original. You gotta go back to the original design of the thing. And when you look at the original design of oneness and the coming together of partnership, it was not, God didn't put Adam and Eve together so they could be codependent on each other.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't put them together so they could be hyper independent of each other. He put us all three together, him connected with us so we can be interdependent. I don't know where you start or where he ends. We just living like sand. You don't know where it started, you don't know where it ends. It goes together. It's mating, it's help mating together. It goes together. And so when you think about oneness, when I went back into Genesis and started studying this, and in my season of like not, of abstaining from sex, because it felt so unfulfilling, like you in the moment, you're enjoying the moment because it's satisfying flesh, but it ain't fulfilling heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, God, I know this isn't it. And so I got back into my studies, and there I found of why it doesn't fulfill like it should be fulfilling. And it's because we don't have total knowledge.
Mm-mm.
It's one of the most sacred acts, but it's also the act that we pervert the most, that we mishandle the most. And we don't have total knowledge. So even though we're acting like we together, the truth is my heart is far from you.
Yeah.
And that is why a lot of times I hear women say, I am next to him, but I am not close to him. And men don't always understand. And especially when I'm coaching couples, they don't understand. I mean, how much she want? She want to jump in my skin.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
Well, because you're hiding. And she knows that. And she can feel it. but she
Mhm.
doesn't know. She knows you're hiding, but she can't find where the parts are.
Mhm.
And so the issue is that she's asking because there's questions. And instead of you saying, I don't know, or I'm uncomfortable talking about it, or whatever the truth is,
Mhm.
you don't. And so what happens is instead of y'all being on the same team, being able to go to war with the enemy, now y'all on opposite sides of the team.
Mhm.
And we can't win that way.
Mm. 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 It's some good stuff. It's so good. And
It's really good. And I'm like,
it's
when we start thinking about that and thinking
mhm.
about, you know, not just the enjoyment of it all, but the closeness and the oneness of it all, and really honor sex the way that God designed it to be. If you honor it in the way that it was designed, by honoring all the things that, like I said earlier in them, one of them clips, is what happens in the living room that affects the bedroom, right? Then it overflows there. But oftentimes we want to make sex an obligation, and we want to use it as the weapon or the measuring stick, if anything, that
Mhm.
defines your connection to me. So if we're not having sex, I don't like it. Like these are conversations I've had with men who are in sexless marriages. And
Mhm.
they're like, she don't want me to touch her. And she don't, every time I try to do this, and I'm like, she don't feel safe. It's something hidden. And until we get to the root, you'll never you'll never get what you want. So even in the moments when they do engage, it's still disconnected. And so then you still mad. And it's like, well, I gave you what you wanted, child.
I
This is
I
the conversations that people are struggling with.
I think that I'm gonna challenge you on something.
Come
It's
on.
gonna be
We're
fun.
having challenging
I
conversations.
don't I don't think the origin is in the living room. I think the origin is in the prayer room.
Ooh, I like that. Now we're in the prayer room tonight. Yeah, come on to the Bible study. And this is an I don't care, no, I ain't shame plug. This is what we're talking about tonight in the prayer room. So come
Yeah,
on, Jared.
yeah,
Click the
yeah,
link.
yeah, yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
And you ain't
yeah,
lying. Come on, I'm with
yeah,
you when you're right.
yeah. It's when we go
Mm-hmm.
and we sit with the Father
Come on.
and we see one another, both in humility,
Mm-hmm.
both in weakness, both in need of Him, both in dependency of Him, both
Mm-hmm.
of our hearts crying out. That is the only place where all of us can be found equal and
Yeah.
in the same place with one another. In the
Mm,
living room doesn't mean that I'm fully present,
yeah.
but in the prayer room, all of me comes out when the Spirit is there, because the Bible says wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Well, what's the liberty created? The freedom for all of myself
Mm-hmm.
become born before the Lord. We're both in our nakedness. And the
Yeah.
reason why people don't have beautiful sex together is because they're not praying together. And if they are praying together, they're praying about the earthly things in their life instead of beholding God. And
Yeah.
when you behold God together and you see your spouse literally being in the adoption of the Spirit, longing for the one that she was made for, and then she looks at you and you're longing for the one that you were made for, guess what happened? She's in her feminine and I'm in my masculine.
Come
That's where
on.
it's defined from. When I see you crying out to Abba, when I see you crying out to Abba, there the masculine and feminine is found. But this is why it's creating disconnection. When we're in the living room with no prayer room, then when I look into the kitchen, why are you not there? So the living room can create disconnection. So you deserve to go into that space,
Come
but
on.
I get to stay on this couch, because that's how we're defining masculine and feminine. And
Come
then if
on.
we're doing roles, you're doing something independently,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
something independently, and we're
Mm-hmm.
not in togetherness in anything that we're role playing in, and then expect to get naked and expect us to feel a union in something when we're both just taking care of things independently in a space. So when you're in the prayer room together, we get to be unionized.
Come on,
We get to
unionize.
actually be unified
Come
in the
on.
Spirit. And when we're unified in the Spirit overwhelms everything in the earthly life that can create disconnection in the sexual place.
Yeah.
So people can go to church together all they want. I'm not saying you shouldn't be communing together in church. That is an attitude of intimacy. If y'all ain't before Daddy God together, if y'all ain't diving into the word together.
Come on.
The origin of human relationship, if we remember, it's so interesting that God so simply creates the design and we want to pervert it to making something else and wonder why we have disconnects in something that's not originally made.
Come on.
So when God designed it and he made man from his image. So the only way that Adam knew who he was is when he was walking with God. He did not discern who he was from walking with Eve. Now, when he made Eve, she said the man was the one who told her who her image was. So I shall name you, I shall call you. Well, guess what happens? When a man is walking with God and a woman sees the man that's walking with God, she sees herself.
Boy, I'm about to.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, I heard that.
Let's go.
Oh, and
let's
come on,
go.
Jer.
Okay, let's go.
Stress me out.
So when she sees the man in his masculinity, well, what is his masculinity? That he is beholding the Father. You want to know why Jesus drew everybody in the way that he had so much light and so much favor? Is because in his masculinity, he was beholding the design of which and which he was made in the flesh. That he was beholding the Father, and there all of his perfection and completion of how he was made was found. That's why he can look at women and women would go to him instead of the disciples, because he was the only one beholding from his design. The disciples were beholding from a work in and of themselves. That's why they couldn't produce anything. But when they saw Jesus, they saw a man beholding Father. He's the one that knows who he is because he knows who the Father is. And if he knows who the Father is, then there is something in him that I need. And I see myself through the image of the Son who's looking at the Father. So women have been in relationships and wonder why they don't have intimacy, because they're looking at men that are looking at the world to determine who they are. And the world can't tell them that. The world can't tell them that. Their provision can't tell them that. Their ability to work all the time can't tell them that. Their ability to manage money can't tell them that. Their ability to get you the dreams of your life can't tell them that. The ability to let them surrender to you employing them can't tell them that. Them giving you a soft era or soft life can't tell them that. That was not present when Adam woke up from the dirt and he saw breath coming out of his body and he saw these hands made before him and he saw God looking at him saying, "You behold the image of me." None of that was present. That's why I can't tell him what it is. And so men are allowing themselves to submit to something that can't tell them what they are. So the only way that they can feel masculine is when they pull their pants down to offer their body, because only the sacrifice is the only thing that they think can tell them what they are. And they weren't even made from that. God didn't sacrifice himself in the beginning when he was formed. That came later. So we're even defining men, the way you lay yourself down for us. No, a man is determined by the way that he rests. And who he's rested in.
Say that one more time.
A man is determined by how he rests and who he's rested in.
Yes.
I am not rushed. I am not obligated. I am not moved. I am not seasoned by the things happening in the world or in my life. I am only moved. I am only pressed. I am only motivated. I am only initiated. I can only be drawn unto a thing unless I see the Father doing it. That's masculinity in its fullness. And we have perverted men to be that onto everybody else except God. And wonder why the sex has to be so extreme, or the sex is in such a drought, and wonder why we can't fix it. Because we don't even know what we are. We don't even know what we came from. So we're just coming up with all these definitions. Well, this has to be it. Let's go to counseling because we don't know what we're supposed to be. So somebody has to put these pieces together, and you don't go to God, who you're the author and creator and image of. So when we do that, a woman starts looking at what she was made from when she sees a man, when he's looking at who he was born to. And when that connection is made, the living room only has power in it because you've been sitting in the prayer room.
Come on.
And most people, when they pray, they're desperate. And when you pray, you don't pray for desperation. You're praying for beholding because you have already received the fullness of him. And even for those who are praying, they may have a little bit of consistency. They may have a little bit of like little thing that falls out of the faucet, but it ain't like the flow when it's in fullness. Because even when they're praying together, they're thinking about an earthly life that God can bless. And so every season is a season. And then I'm like, there is no seasons. I am forever tied to the eternityness of God's life overflowing. I don't have drought in my life. There is never a season of wilderness. There is never a season where God goes silent. There's never a season where he's not caring for me. So all these people depicting their seasons lets me know that if you are in the prayer room, it ain't the one and only God you're talking to. You're talking to the God of understanding, which still slows down the flow of abundance and intimacy. So in order for us to do this right, Lauren, if we were to teach something, we got to strip everybody down as if you know nothing.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can fix the drought, because there's too many divots of weeds and people that are causing all these droughts, and you just got droughts everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, if he would just know, baby, that ain't it. There's so many more. There's hundreds of droughts in both of y'all. So what's happening is God wants to show us what it means to be human. And when we learn how to be human, and that he is the only one that can decide our humanity. And when we come and we see Jesus in the flesh, he's the one telling us what it looks like when God and human are formed together. And then we start to get that identity formed in us by the work of the Spirit. And then when we're with one another, we have grace, because I'm realizing that God is doing a work in you. God is doing a work in you. Though these things have happened, God will use everything to work for our good. And you know what happens in hard conversations? We ain't thinking that way, because the trigger then told us that none of this is going to work for our good. So I got to get out of here. I got to defend myself. I got to get away from this situation. This person doesn't hear me. This person doesn't see me. This person doesn't love me because of the tone they're talking to me in. And the whole time God's like, well, I already see you. I already understand you. I already choose you. I already loved you. I've already overcome those things to make it work for your good. And we're looking to a person as if they failed us in a moment when God has been over here fulfilling all the things that we need at the same time. That's how you overcome the trigger in hard conversations. When you see God being what you need in the midst of the hard conversation, then I can flow in the space with the other person. That's how you walk it. That's how you stay in the river that always flows. That's how you stay with the bread that never causes you to be hungry. That's how you drink from the water that you'll never thirst anymore. See, we're in relationships and we like want to die to high achievement and put it in God's name only to get in marriage. And then we're back to achieving again.
Yeah.
We say we want to abstain till marriage. I ain't giving nobody this or whatever, only to get married and still have worldly sex and still have worldly intimacy.
Yeah.
So what have you abstained for?
And still not know the person.
It's all still perverted.
Yeah.
You waited to marry perversion. I don't want to date perversion no more, but I'm going to marry it though. Make that make sense. That's not abstinence.
No. But you know why? Because we're so consumed with the act. We're so consumed with the performance.
Yeah.
That, man, we haven't even touched the surface on the context. And that is why
we have not.
That is why God was so strategic in telling us that we should be, we really should think properly. Take our time, not rush when it comes to marriage, when it comes to, because these are commitment things.
Mm-hmm.
And this morning when I came in my office, you can't see it, but I've been on a trip. Me and Guy, we've been giving go together energy today, baby. And one of the things that I did this morning was I ironed out what are my top 3 priorities, what are my commitments, and then what's just on the to-do list. See, the issue is a lot of times we're not paying attention to the commitments.
Mm-hmm.
And so what ends up happening is we will commit to things that we hadn't really thought about. Like I
Right.
really let's really get to know each other. Let's really build this foundation of friendship. Because
Mm-hmm.
if we can't get the friendship part right, the rest of this part ain't gonna be going. It's not gonna go as well as we desire. And we don't think about it from that lens of like, I really want to be intentional. This morning I wanted to be intentional. So I intentionally did things to prepare me and to think through and to hold space, because those are things that are really, really important. Um, to me, is to be able to sit with God and reflect and spend time hearing his heart and, well, God, how do you see this? So wait, what I thought was gonna hurt me was really here to help me. And I was acting crazy. But change my lens. Help me see it the way you see it.
Mm-hmm.
And just just being able to spend that time. But I do think that we struggle with identifying what is truly priority. What is priority versus your pleasure?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when we choose pleasure over priority, that's how we end up having a body but not having the heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm complete. The doors of the church is open, child. Is there one?
I mean,
Is there one? I'm done. Tap me out. Take me out the game, coach.
yeah.
That's how good this was.
When you find, like, when you see that everything that God has made, it's all found in him. He didn't leave anything out. And when we try to navigate anything in life that God made
Come
and
on.
we've left him out,
Come
it's
on.
not going to have any life in it.
No life.
Drought is the presence of death. It is the presence of lack. We cannot believe that when it says in Psalm 23, "For the Lord is my shepherd, for I lack no good thing. I lack nothing." Well, if I'm experiencing lack, then that means that there's a disconnection in something that I'm experiencing that's out of design. Most of it's not even that you could be with the wrong person or that you're the wrong person. You just don't see the design correctly. God, how did you make this?
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? His name is Creator, and we don't ever get curious about how he made it.
Not go back to the materials.
He's the name of everything to say, I know how to counsel it. I know how to provide for it. I know how to tend to it. I know how to heal it. I know how to raise it from the dead. I know how to make it. I know how to author it. I know how to work it. And then we keep thinking, well, don't worry. I'll just study to show myself approved so I can use what I understand about this thing to be all those things unto myself. And God's like, I made it all so you can watch me be God to all of it. And if you watch me be God to all of it, there is a life that animates from it that the world's looking like, that's the thing we're longing for. But how can the world long for something that we put God's name in it, but we won't put God in it? And wonder why the church is still trying to figure out why there's drought in Christian people. You bear the title of someone, but you don't bear the person.
Come on.
And if you take the person out, the title has no effect. You can be Christian all day, but if you don't behold God and see him as he is through Christ, then you will never be able to live in the fullness of what it means to be in the oneness with God. I don't know who you won with, but it ain't him. And that's the question. Those are the hard conversations.
Yes, those
that
are
we have to have that heals and restores the intimacy. Who are you beholding?
Yeah.
Who are you saying is the framework of your image that you were made from? Who has told you? Like God asked Adam, who told you that? And this is how you know. Listen, this is so beautiful. And I promise I'm out.
No, come on.
This is how you know Jesus is God in human flesh. In Genesis, he asks the question. The first thing Jesus does when he goes to the disciples is he asks the question, who do you say I am? And you know why God does that? He does that to provoke awareness, to see if we will be honest with him, to see if we really know him. Some say,
Come on.
if I say, God, I don't know, and then I will respond and say, well, who do you say you are, God? You see the laboring? Some say the tradition that they bore of this God coming back in flesh to be a salvation unto their people. Some say. I haven't been interacting with him. I've been interacting with the talk about him. And most people, their faith is deriving for the gossip of God, but not God himself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're living from the gossip of faith, then there's no wonder why you can't live in the flow of intimacy.
Mm. Who shall? Yeah. Listen. I fell out. It's good, JR. This good. Oh,
the
hey,
ending of a great
Instagram.
series.
Instagram people, they talking to us too. I'm sorry, I was looking at them.
I didn't even see it. I can't even see it.
You ain't got to. I got you.
Oh, I
I'm
got
your
it over
eyes.
here.
Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I'm your eyes. Oh my goodness.
Well, they call it the best parts anyways.
They click the link below for the prayer room tonight.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. Let me at least make sure we acknowledge the people. This is one of our Facebook people, Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy. Them Jeremy's, Lord, help us, Jeremy. He said, oftentimes our exterior experiences, manifestation and things stem or birth from our internal experiences, what we believe we have. That's good. Y'all listen, if this blessing y'all, because it's definitely blessing me. I'd have felt like I make one of them church fans.
Yeah.
Pick me back up.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. This is good. That's all I have. I don't have anything else. I'm done. I'm tapped out. The link is in the video. It's in the bio. Join us tonight for the Oneness Bible Study. If you have been in the living room and that's why you're struggling, the prayer room is open. And tonight we're actually reading the prayer room from, and he's gonna be acting out funny when I say it, but we're gonna just say it, from one of my favorite authors. We'll be reading home. So I can't wait for y'all to join us tonight. It's gonna be amazing. So definitely tap in. We love y'all.
Love y'all. Can't wait to see y'all there.
Y'all pray for me. Okay. Peace.